You are all welcome. If you are passionate about writing effective essays, this video is for you. At the very outset, I would like to tell you, we are not going to discuss real essays today asked in public commission examinations. Today we want to introduce what essays are. The first thing is, what is an essay? What's the difference between articles, reports and essays? What are the components of essays, such as formatting, hook, background information, thesis, body and conclusion? Then characteristics of good essays, and at the end, kinds of essays. At the very outset, I would like to tell you, we are going to upload another video especially for UPSC and BPSC and other PCS. They will focus on the kind of essays asked in these examinations. Now, have a look at the origin of the word essay. Etymologically, the word essay is derived from the Latin term, the French term essai, which means trial, attempt or effort. The word essai in French traces its history to Latin word exegium, which means weighing, weight or balance. In fact, the word essay in common parlance, सामान्य लोगों की भाषा में essay क्या है? An essay is a short piece of writing from the author's perspective. What is an essay? एक लघु लेख है जो लेखक के दृष्टिकोण को रिफ्लेक्ट करता है, और you can say an essay is a literary tool or composition that helps the author present, examine, evaluate or argue a specific idea or topic in a coherent and structured manner. निबंध एक साहित्यिक रचना या माध्यम है जिसके द्वारा लेखक अपने विचार को प्रस्तुत करता है या किसी मुद्दे का अवलोकन करता है और अपना तर्क प्रस्तुत करता है. Essays are generally asked in academia to test how well students communicate in writing. शैक्षणिक संस्थानों में मूलतः ऐसे छात्रों की लेखन क्षमता, लिखने की क्षमता की जांच करने के लिए होता है, लेकिन प्रशासनिक सेवाओं की परीक्षा में केवल इस उद्देश्य से नहीं पूछा जाता है. उसका उद्देश्य एक कुछ अलग होता है, जिस पे हम डिस्कस हम लोग डिस्कस अगले वीडियो में करेंगे। नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, when you sit to write, when you start to write an essay, there are certain things, कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिस पे हम पहले ध्यान देते हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आर द कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ एसेज। एसेज के मुख्य अंग क्या होते हैं, भाग क्या हो। द फर्स्ट थिंग इज द लेआउट। द फर्स्ट थिंग इज द लेआउट और फॉर्मेटिंग। दिस इज कॉल्ड फॉर्मेटिंग और लेआउट। जिस पेज पे आप लिखते हैं उसका इस्तेमाल आप कैसे करेंगे। द फर्स्ट थिंग इज यू लीव एटलीस्ट अ मार्जिन ऑफ 1.5 इंच ऑन ऑल साइड्स। चारों तरफ आप 1.5 कम से कम इंच छोड़ देते हैं। यह ऐसा मिलता है, ऐसा पेपर आपको मिलता है। The second thing is line space. This is called margin. Margin means the space outside your content. जो आप लिखते हैं उसके बाहर जो खाली स्थान है वो क्या है, मार्जिन है। और मार्जिन में उस पेज में सबसे पहले आप टाइटल लिखते हैं जो बीच में होता है, सेंटर्ड एंड बोल्ड और स्पष्ट अक्षरों में होता है। अबव द फर्स्ट लाइन जो आपका लेख होता है उसके ऊपर होता है। और द लाइन्स यू राइट, उसके बीच में स्पेस होना चाहिए ताकि लाइन्स की रीडेबिलिटी बनी रहे। और whenever you start a paragraph, you leave a very short space. फर्स्ट वर्ड जो है उसको नहीं लिखकर उसके बाद जो स्थान ऑन द लेफ्ट यू लीव अ स्पेस, a very short space for at least a word. Then you start writing. That is called indentation. एक शब्द के लिए आप एक स्थान छोड़ देते हैं, then you start writing. और लिखते समय आप कोटेशंस में लिखते हैं। कभी कभी कोटेशंस को इटालिसाइज्ड करना आवश्यक नहीं है, ओके, उसे आप इन्वर्टेड कॉमास में रख सकते हैं। The next point is स्ट्रक्चर। आपके लेख का की संरचना किस प्रकार होगी। द फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ यू राइट is called introductory paragraph. The introductory paragraph contains the hook, the first line. You introduce the topic. The line which introduces the topic is called a hook, और opening remark भी कह सकते हैं आप, उसे hook या opening remark कहते हैं। And the lines which follow the opening remark or hook are called background information. आप जिस विषय पे लिख रहे हैं उसके बारे में कुछ ऐसी जानकारी देते हैं कि रीडर संदर्भ को समझ ले कि किस संदर्भ में इस ऐसे को लिखा जा रहा है। And after background information and the most important part of your essay, the most important part of your introductory paragraph is the most important part is thesis statement. What is thesis statement? When you write on a topic, you first introduce the topic, then you give a context in which the essay is written. Thereafter, you write your key arguments. What you write about the essay, about the topic, is called thesis. What are you going to write? You introduce that in short, that is called thesis. Main arguments and purpose. What are the main arguments which you will develop in body paragraphs are first mentioned in the thesis statement. The major points you are going to write on. The major points you are going to elaborate. They are called thesis. The most important segment of your essay. Then comes what you have written in the thesis statement, the main arguments, your main arguments. You will elaborate on your main arguments in the body paragraph. The essay may have 3, 4 or more paragraphs. As far as longer essays are concerned, the main content of the essay is called body paragraphs. Body paragraph. Body paragraphs may contain 2, 3, 4 or more. Each paragraph will have an opening sentence. Each paragraph will deal with a specific topic. One or more paragraphs supporting main arguments. Each focuses on single main idea like facts, stats, examples and quotes. Finally comes conclusion. Conclusion summarizes main points of your essay. The conclusion restates what you have already written in different words. Restate thesis in a new way. Paraphrasing will do. Now, we have come to characteristics of a good essay. What are characteristics of a good essay? Qualities of a good essay. The first one is, as I spoke to you a moment ago, clear thesis statement. Your thesis statement, what you are going to write about the essay, the main arguments. You need to have a clear thesis statement. The essay, the information in the essay must be organized in a proper manner, well organized. It should have a well organized structure, a strong introduction and conclusion. I have already spoken about them. Developed body paragraphs, effective transitions. What are transitions? When you move from one point to another, you use certain words. for a smooth flow of the essay. The writer must be able to move from one point to other smoothly, and that is possible with the use of transition words. The next one is concise and clear language. We have to use a clear language. We don't have to be ambiguous or vague. And the essay must present writer's own perspective, not copied from someone else. And the writer must be able to use proper grammar and mechanics. Next one. Characteristics of a good essays. We continue. We still continue. There has to be clarity. Clarity. Aspashta. Aids to clarity. How can we achieve clarity? We should use appropriate punctuation and pronoun reference. When we mention a noun in forthcoming lines, later on we use pronouns. We have to use appropriate pronouns which refer to their antecedents. Next one is correct word order. Modifier must be placed before the words they modify. Next, consistency. Means we have, if you have chosen a pattern, if you use a periodic sentence, when you use a periodic sentence, I think you know the difference between periodic and loose sentences. The subordinate clause and the main clause. The main clause must come next. In a loose clause, the main clause comes first. We have to avoid loose sentences in essays. We will be discussing at length in forthcoming videos. Then SVA, subject verb agreement. A number of students make mistakes in subject verb agreement. Subject must agree with the number, person and gender of the verb must agree in number, person, gender of the subject. Then comes economy. This one is here, okay? This one is here. Economy means using fewer words. We don't have to be verbose, or there should not be wordiness. We have to be precise. We have to use precise words to express your ideas, our ideas. That economy, we have to exercise economy, avoid wordiness and verbosity, and there should be consistency. Does not mean we should not make use of variety while writing. Repetition should be avoided. Repetition of words, phrases should be avoided, and we can achieve variety in a number of ways. Right now, we don't have that much time to discuss that. Then have a short look, a brief look at the kinds of essays. One is narrative essays, in which we tell a story, we talk about any events. Okay. Narrative Essays have sequence of events. There must be characters, there must be a plot and setting. Next one is descriptive essays. Descriptive essays describes a person, place or thing. Analytical essays examines a topic to draw a conclusion or prove the theory. We examine a topic, we break down the information. Then comes reflective essays. We look back to the past. We talk about past experiences. They are reflective essays. Now discursive essays. In discursive essays, we present arguments. We present arguments both in favor and against, and leave the audience to form an opinion. I can't right now elaborate on the kinds of essays, as we have a plan to discuss at length kinds of essays asked in public service examinations, such as philosophical essays, hypothetical essays, essays based on proverbs and sayings, expository essays, cause and effect essays, and so on. Thank you very much for being with me. See you in the next video. Until then, good night.